Running. Are you seeing it? Because I don't see it yet. Give it a second. Oh, loading video.
It's loading.
So it should be ready and going then. Okay. So, well, I guess welcome all to Pacific Rim Podcast. I'm Mad Matt. If you are watching us live, you're watching the stream. Otherwise, I'll be posting this on YouTube, and I also post videos on Blip. And whoever else wants to introduce themselves now.
This is the Ontarioku. And did anybody else want to introduce themselves?
Want to just tell us your background coming into Pacific Rim, why you ended up watching it, or if you're just a casual moviegoer with no particular genre interest?
Well, I am an anime fan, a giant monster movie fan, and I really enjoyed the movie. I saw it twice. I saw it as just a fanboy, just enjoying it. Then I went back and watched it again to really analyze it. And both times, still solid. The second time I did notice the flaws, but overall it is still a solid movie, and I did enjoy it for what it was.
I'm Writer's Block. I am normally a comic book reviewer, but I remember watching giant robot animes and tokusatsu. I was a really big fan of Power Rangers, and I came into Pacific Rim sort of with that mindset, and really just looking for something fun, and I got it. I really thought the movie was just nothing but two hours of sheer fun.
Leaves Bill and Luke.
Okay, I'm the Armchair General, Hydreiatus, and I came to this movie as an all-around geek. That's pretty much my backstory for this. And
a Monster Apocalypse fan.
Monpok fan, yeah. Don't know if that's relevant anymore, I think it's dead. Anyway, my thoughts on the movie, I saw it twice, 3D and 2D, preferred it 2D of course. And the one overriding opinion of it is fun. And that's my 2 cents. Opinions.
And I'm the Man in Black, and I came into this as a Toku fan with a bit of a specialization in kaiju, which is because of my horror bent. As for Pacific Rim, I found it to be one of those types of movies where you can spot a flaw in virtually every scene, yet it's still fun enough that they do not distract you from the movie or make you like it any less.
Well, I guess I didn't describe my background then. But people who watch my stuff obviously know who I am, but
Nobody watching your YouTube channel knows what you like, Matt.
No, never. I just reviewed War of the Gargantuas, and even my villain character said, I can't help but enjoy this. No, obviously I don't like tokusatsu. Obviously I don't like anime. Obviously I'm not a general huge geek in just the broadest term.
No.
I obviously don't go in character to conventions or anything.
Alright, so basically I kind of toted this as a look at Pacific Rim in a different way than I've seen anyone else talking about it, and basically the idea that I had in mind bringing us all together was to essentially go through the movie step by step or scene by scene, depending on those of us who managed to see it more than once could probably guide a bit if we do end up doing it scene by scene. Personally, I'm waiting until I can go somewhere that it doesn't cost me $30 to get a ticket, popcorn, and a soda before I watch it a second time. I love the movie, but I'm not spending $30 on it again.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you live again?
Connecticut. It's $10 for the ticket, $20 for a popcorn and a soda.
Dang, I got a ticket for like $6.
So
yeah, most I have is a drink, so maybe around 10.
However, the first scene would definitely not need any help with, because my straight up thought would be to basically cut the first 15 minutes, and that's not saying to remove all of the lore and all of the backstory, but I think that the story would be tighter and everything would be a bit more thematic if they just started off with the wall scene and everything else was told through flashbacks and exposition. And we would have had more room for some other things versus the relatively choppy introductions that we got.
I would almost argue with you, but at the same time, yeah, I can kind of see it being streamlined a little bit better if we didn't waste an extra 5 to 10 minutes on just sitting on these guys as they're gearing up to fight the first number 3.
And an example there, the entire thing with his brother, imagine if that was kept as a secret and then they revealed it during the drift when they were both having their PTSD flashback, or if they had both had PTSD flashbacks at the same time and had to help each other through them.
Here's where I argue. You're splitting the audience attention between two major events and character development arcs. Although that's being said, you do need that intro because it sets the tone of the movie. It right away establishes the kaiju monster fighting giant robots. You get what you pay for. Whereas if you started with the wall, it would start off almost a bit too serious. It wouldn't come across as much. The intro and the sort of the news reports, the flashes of the Jaegers, developments, everything. That it's like the sort of thing you get. I'm not a comic book fan, but I'm pretty sure all comic books have one page detailing the origin story.
Yeah, they have it.
That's the idea there, and here's where we're probably going to be from. Probably split between two different schools of thought on this type of idea, which is when I think of a really great monster movie, I think of the early Godzilla movies where you literally spend 30 minutes just building up the drama of what's going on before you actually do see the physical monster and everything. And those are generally the ones I prefer over the ones that do start off with everything right off the bat.
Yeah, but still build up like an idea of what it looks like and don't overdo it. Like, for example, if you take your time, you've got Jaws, but if you do it poorly, you've got Jeepers Creepers.
plus, completely wrong movie genre.
Well, they're both monsters. They both take their time. So only one is a shark, and the other one's a ninja scarecrow monster written by a pedophile.
Yeah,
but they're both horror movies. Pacific Rim is not a horror. Pacific Rim is to catch the wonderment of being a small kid, seeing these two things beat the shit out of each other.
And they definitely do capture that wonderment with all the scenes where it's like you're looking, they build up to look up at the robots and stuff like that. You definitely feel the grand scale of it.
The suit up scene. A lot of people call it indulgent. I think it fits perfectly.
Suit up scenes that I usually like. I wasn't a huge fan of the first monster that was basically just introduced and then exposited and then vanished. Yeah. I think that would have been something that would have been more effective if we saw some sort of climactic thing with its death. The way humanity was able to finally beat it, that type of deal.
We want to see the laser cannons, is what we're saying.
Yeah, you wanted to see the monster die. If I may, I actually liked how they did it. If you wanted to go into a certain direction of making it a secret of what happened to Riley's brother, the main character's brother, you could do that. But I think the way they did it is that it's kind of like it's kind of like eating a nice big meal with an appetizer. The first fight is just a taste of what's to come, and then once we get through all the human stuff, and we get to Hong Kong, and we see the other Jaeger pilots going at it with the other kaijus. That's sort of like the start of the main course.
Yeah, and here was now I'm going to argue against myself. Where is what I do? No, it's that opening scene before the credits. It feels like it belongs in a prequel movie. Because you have them all being victorious, we know how to deal with the Kai. The Category 1s and 2s, they're no longer a threat. They show up, we destroy them, there'll be collateral damage. But it's that shows where it really changes things. That's when the war starts going against them again. Because the Category 3s are designed to aim for the cockpit, which Knife Head does. So that would have been like almost like a ending scene for a movie before this. You know what I mean?
Right. It sounds it does sound like something that you would see in a prequel movie. I mean, and I haven't actually read the prequel comic.
I haven't yet either. I do plan to get to it eventually.
Yeah, I'd like to take a look at that myself. I haven't. I understand from possibly a storytelling and pacing standpoint why holding off on seeing the kaijus would be a good move in terms of developing up the drama and building anticipation. However, I feel that a lot of people would have just started to get a little bit impatient, and maybe you could say he caved to pressure to say like, here's your these people want to see a monster fight. Here you go, first 5 minutes.
Also, that tension thing's completely pointless because each kaiju looks different anyway. So there's no point in holding back because they're all unique.
And while you're arguing the point of whether or not to show the monsters at the beginning, I would add that in the 1960s is when they actually started thinking, well, we need to at least show one of them. And
maybe
War of the Gargantuas, you actually get to see the green Gargantua at the very beginning of the film, like 2-3 minutes in.
And for the record of my own point of view, just to give some perspective, my 3 favorite kaiju movies are probably in this order: Gojira, Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, and Mothra vs. Godzilla, all of which wait 30 to 45 minutes before you see your first kaiju.
What you see in the kaiju movies, what you're talking about, we get half an hour of humans. Fuck them.
Humans, sometimes giant eggs, sometimes aliens, fairies.
We don't care. We want the big stuff.
or if you're talking about the Italian Godzilla, Hiroshima.
Oh, yeah, God.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Or if you're talking about the American Godzilla, really bad acting.
Actually, with that, it's just fuck everything.
I don't know. John Reno had a couple of good parts.
Hey, they sort of had allusions to that movie in Pacific Rim, so shush.
It still doesn't mean it was a good movie.
Wait, which American are you talking about?
1998.
Oh, I thought you were talking 1956. I was trying to figure out where everyone was coming from here.
The 90s one.
Yeah,
the one with Matthew Broderick. Not the.
Okay.
That's a lot of fish.
Yeah, the one that got bitch slapped by Godzilla in Final Wars.
Yeah, I always tell my friends anytime.
And by the way, I timed that 25 seconds.
Shortest
Nice.
kaiju fight in history.
Shortest kaiju fight ever. 25 seconds. Well, that didn't last long.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. It's glorious.
It's like curb stomping and then peeing on the corpse. You know.
But it does have the side effect. 1998 Godzilla is canon in Toho.
Yep. They do consider it just a fish-eating iguana that got its ass handed to it.
And has appeared twice. And actually, they did reference it in the 2000 Godzilla movies. The Millennium Godzilla movies. They referenced it at least once, if not twice.
In Giant Monsters All Out Attack, right?
Final Wars earlier, yeah.
Giant Monsters All Attack. I think there also might have been a reference to it in Godzilla 2000.
No, it was in Godzilla versus like Megaguirus. One of those. It wasn't 2000. It was one of the later ones.
I remember there for sure being at least one reference, if not more.
But I will give that series one credit. The animated series was decent.
From my hearings.
Because they did one proper thing. They had other monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop focusing on the damn humans, damn you.
Before we go too far into Godzilla, before it takes us forever to get through Pacific Rim, anybody else have particular thoughts on the first 15 minutes on things they would have done differently?
I would have made it more like hopeful and bigger. Like the fight is just like, oh no, something bad's happening. But I guess you can kind of argue that it was helping to build up the fact that yes, they're winning, they're confident, things are going good now. But then it builds in the dread that we're starting to lose the war.
Yeah.
I just wish we could have had more moments where it was this badass, awesome fighting.
I would have had. Sorry. Go ahead.
It was interesting when I was watching at first. When I was watching it, my mind was starting to complain about the Jaeger pilots, but then I realized you look at something like Top Gun and you realize that they probably did act the way they would act in real life. So there's really, and then of course there's that extra step away from realism that any kaiju movie will have just to make them a bit more relatable to the audience. So there's really not grounds for complaint in terms of the professionalism or lack thereof of the pilots, at least in my mind.
Yeah. As I have constantly referenced here and there that I'm a huge follower of Brad Jones and his reviews, especially the Midnight ones. And while I have not seen every movie that he has, he did frequently bring up Top Gun, and I have not seen it, but I've seen enough of it. And I'm like, yeah, that's Iceman.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
Iceman
definitely.
over there, yep.
As an anime fan, I can also see like the stereotypes and archetype that you could see in a movie. You know, you've got the overly emotional pilot who goes in there, who doesn't always follow by the rules. You've got the badass female character who has a secret past. You've got the toughest nails general who always wants him to follow the orders. You've got the arrogant, hot-headed rival. You've got the nerdy guys, and of course, you got
really
some
nerdy
extra
guys.
characters.
Yeah, Evangelion.
Yeah, it's basically Evangelion.
And although personally, I think rather than doing the clip show with his with Riley talking about it to the audience, I think it would have been better if it had been something like extract from a documentary talking about the first years of the Kaiju War, because we would have that.
Or even a flashback for the Marshal.
Yes, although that would have introduced the Marshal too early, I think.
Well,
he's more of a perspective.
it depends on which scene you like. If you start with the brother scene, then the first kaiju can be a flashback later on.
I would have done it as it's a documentary about the Kaiju War, so you'd still have all the Jaeger cameos, the Kaiju cameos, the same information, but have it like a documentary you'd have on the History Channel.
Like the beginning of the American version of Terror of Mechagodzilla.
I haven't seen that, so. But that sort of thing. And then you can pull out and have it as either the mission control guy who's watching it, or Wily himself. And then it all flows a bit better, because it's not him referencing the audience. And then you can immediately jump into the scene of him waking up his brother and going to suit up. I just think that would have flowed a bit better.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah.
And plus, I really like mockumentaries.
Yeah, but would it be I think the problem with that is you wouldn't really know how it's happening. You could have it kind of a reflectionary newscast on the past events that have led up with the Jaeger program and the Kaiju attacks, and kind of a memorial to the stuff that's happened. But
actually, you know, the main thing I'm thinking, Lucas, for what you said, I'm thinking of the beginning of the first episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
It's like everything was fine until the kaiju came.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the trailers for Halo 3, which was all
only the Gundam pilot, who was the master of all mechs, could save us. But when the world needed him most, he vanished. And then we got some whiny-ass kid to join us.
Hello, Legend of Zelda fan.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this big ass mech.
No, that's like the engineers. It's dangerous to go alone. Take these blades. Completely forget about them.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, although I'll argue both sides. For this entire stream,
I agree.
I'm going to argue every point, every side. I will argue.
All right. Anything else early on? Because I know someone, I don't know who, but I know someone's itching to argue about the wall. So are we ready for that yet, or we got anything else before it?
I'd be fine to argue.
Oh, I'm ready to talk about the wall.
All right, knock yourself out.
Here we go.
Really, they decided to make a wall. They couldn't just think of anything else. They decided to make a giant wall to just stop a random attack that could happen at any point in time.
Yes.
Why-
And I see the sense in that idea. And I'll do it.
That's aneurysm level stupid. I mean,
No.
really.
Literally,
No,
within
no,
5
no, no,
seconds
no.
of hearing about them building this wall, I leaned over to my friend who was next to me and went, since when was ever building a giant fuck-off wall a good idea and actually worked? Even in
built a
real
wall
life.
once, and then the Huns got over the wall. We build another wall, and the Kaiju get over the wall.
No, look. Okay, the thing where I've read this theory, which I understand why they would think it would work. At this point, when they're starting to build the wall, they still think of kaiju as wild animals. They're not directed weapons. So they're of the point of...
It doesn't
if you
matter.
go for-
They just walk around the damn wall.
Or they just go through it.
I think
Or
what
they
he's-
had a-
for that matter.
I think
They
what he's
see
Who
saying
the
the
bear
creatures
goes-
have bladed heads. You think they're gonna see that Kaiju is smart enough to realize maybe if I ram hard enough and I'm that big, maybe I can get through a wall.
I can see where Lucas
They're
is
gonna
coming
try.
from. I can see where Lucas is coming from, and that's if you were wandering aimlessly in the wilderness, and that was your goal to aimlessly wander, not to go somewhere. Would you see a wall and your first thought be, "I'm going to break my knuckles against it," or would it be, "I'm just going to keep going without trying to go through it"? I think that's what he's basically trying to say.
Well, that depends upon
Yeah, there's
whether
a
or not the
bridge in the way
monster
of the
was...
monster, and it still went through it.
It depends upon the monster's senses, is for a start, because can it smell the living flesh on the other side, and is its belly that empty that
Yes,
needs
a
something
bear
to
can
eat?
And also the
Kaboom!
walls are as tall as the kaiju, so really they could just like look over and say, "Ooh, people!" Bam.
Yes, but I'm still arguing that those walls were only built around the more wealthy areas. The population centers in less wealthy areas would be the bait to draw them off, basically.
Okay, so the rich people build up. So the rich people build up giant, big ass fuck off walls around themselves. Leave
That's
the.
it.
I mean,
And they
it's like-
basically say, "Hey, Kaiju, here's some hobo treats for you."
yeah, and then they keep going.
Realistic to me.
That's what happened.
Yes, politicians and rich people would be that stupid.
Why not build like towers or guns or missile blocks or something like?
I'm not
Here's a
arguing.
Kaiju, shoot it away, then lure it off of some boats or something.
Speaking with Matt, who was it you did your vlog with?
Oh, I'm trying to remember his name now too. I have to look him up. It was just really a, hey, first response, who wants to join me kind of deal.
It does in Matt's vlog of the movie. It was basically presented as an original idea. I'm not sure if you realize the parallels, but the suggestion was essentially the Junon laser, and we have seen it blow apart at least 2 kaiju so far. So we do know that the Junon laser is a functional idea.
But we don't have a live stream to power it. Or do we? Do we?
Is it power with a live stream in
Yes.
Junon or only in Midgard?
In both, I think.
They've had giant piss-off cannons in multiple Final Fantasy games. It's nothing new.
Look into World War II, what the Germans had like a railway cannon.
They had a cannon like as a city?
No, but they had the Gustav cannon where the shell's bigger than you,
Yeah.
as in it's the size of a portaloo.
There it is.
The Gustav cannon. It's a beauty.
Are you going to watch your vlog to see the name of the guy?
Have you heard of him?
Thomas was the person I did that with. His first name is Thomas.
He just randomly found a guy in the street.
I posted a reviewerverse on Facebook.
Hmm.
So, almost. Only I knew it was someone who at least knows something about technology and doing reviews.
For the record, that's essentially how we casted this podcast.
So, yeah.
I'm not even meant to be here.
But me, Bill, and Lucas are the only ones that actually know each other. Or at least have known
Well,
each other, say,
yeah,
more than a year.
We know Jeff somewhat, but we're not.
Yeah.
We don't generally do things together.
Getting sidetracked. Okay, back to Pacific Rim. Okay, so they're building the wall. That was actually set just the building the wall, as people have pointed out, that again changed the feeling of the movie. It was much more depressive. It was grim, bleak, the good news, bad news. 3 guys died, but I got 3 new jobs which are worth rations. And people are working for rations. That's grim.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Well, it's nice that they actually took the time to include things like how constant monster attacks would affect the global economy and
kaiju dumps.
Yeah, and kaiju dumps. Not to mention like people harvesting kaiju parts on the black market,
or incorporating the bones. Like, I still love that scene where they show the church made out of a kaiju skull. I remember Brad Jones talked about that in his midnight screening. They never show it, but I bet if you went in there, it'd look amazing.
See, now I can't help but make parallels between that and Kiryu.
Yeah, that's going to be the second film. Mechagodzilla 3 from Tokyo SOS. They build a robot around a kaiju skeleton, the skeleton of the original Godzilla, and they talked about the second Pacific Rim having a crossover between, having a cross between a kaiju and a Jaeger, so a cyborg.
That would be kind of freaking awesome. I just imagine like Mecha Ghidorah or something like that.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Mecha Ghidorah was awesome. And Kiryu was built using the same tech.
Wait. No.
No, Kiryu was more like...
Godzilla 2 was made using that tech.
Okay.
Kiryu was just built off of taking Godzilla bones and making an android around it.
Yeah. Like Cyber Godzilla from the animated series is more like Cyborg and stuff
Or
like
what
that.
people call Ubercorp does in One Pump. Just robo versions of all the other monsters.
And they all suck. Oh wait.
No, they don't. Precision Cthulhu's in there. Mecha Cthulhu.
And for everyone who mocks Aquaman, he can summon Cthulhu. Who's laughing now?
And then he floods Gotham City.
Or Leviathan.
Yeah.
Didn't he stick a shark on fucking Darkseid?
Yep.
I know he sicked sharks on Despero and just said, "Make him bleed."
And I think it was like in the new Justice League series, just summon sharks to eat the Paragons or the Parademons, whatever they're called.
Yeah, and drove his trident through one of them's skull.
Yeah.
Okay,
Awesome.
Okay, back on topic.
Bring
After building the wall, Stacker Pentecost comes back. That's a really weird name.
Stacker
Hey,
Pentecost.
I
The names
honestly,
in this movie are weird.
until the last scene, could not figure out if Marshall was his name or his rank.
Rank.
I figured it out, but like the whole movie, I'm sitting there like, okay, is his name Marshall because that's kind of the way they treat it, or is Marshall his rank? And finally, somebody else took up the Marshall title. I'm like, okay, so Marshall is his rank.
Yeah, and because Del Toro is a pacifist, that's why he gave them Ranger ranks, not actual military ranks. So that's why the pilots are Rangers, the Marshals in charge, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that this is set in the same universe as After Earth.
No!
No!
Hell no!
God, no!
I just slapped Bill on the back of the head.
Thank you.
No.
A lot of things I wouldn't mind being in canon with Pacific Rim. After Earth is not one of them. I would be fine if it's in canon with The Room, because then I could just imagine a Jaeger stopping on Tommy Wiseau.
Everybody!
I can't think of this anymore.
hi,
Oh,
Gypsy
hi,
Danger.
You know, if it's canon,
Oh, hi, doggy!
if all of Del Toro's works are in one can,
Then that means that we could have Hannibal Chow meeting Hellboy.
Or Hellboy piloting a Jaeger with the right hand of doom.
Oh god, that would be awesome.
I still think Pan's Labyrinth when I hear Del Toro. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because Pan's Labyrinth is easily in the same continuity as Hellboy.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, I was saying that as a joke. It actually makes sense.
Yeah, it
That's
does.
Hellboy 2.
One day I'll watch Hellboy.
They should have had the little girl cameo in Hellboy 2 at the Elven Court.
You just have like a nice 3-second gaze at her, just like, ah.
I made my own side
Yeah,
thing
see
here.
what I did there?
Anyway,
See, my original work ties in with my non-original work. See?
and Stacker's argument to bring him back into the program, which just appeals to like a 10-year-old. Do you want to die here, or do you want to die in a giant robot?
Actually,
I don't want to die at all.
considering the
Sure,
current-
get a giant robot.
What a motivating
But-
leader!
con-
It doesn't matter what we do, you're gonna
but
die.
considering the type of personality you're looking for in a pilot of something like this, you want the type of person who's going to say, "I'd rather die in the cockpit than retire in the wall."
But then
Depends. Are you
again,
willing to die with having a giant kaiju's tail crush you, or would you rather be spit on with acid than crushed underwater?
also, oh god, yeah, the Russians.
Or would would you like to have the last thing you see be a
Like
be
Canadians.
a kaiju's digestive tract?
Now,
It's like, you're not exactly winning me over here, sir. Get in the fucking mech. Okay.
But the
exactly.
world's screwed anyway. Just get in the giant robot.
You the giant robot at least give it half a try, you pansy.
Would have been funny if they did that. He's like, my brother died in the mech. I will never go back in there. Okay, turns around, spins around, like knocks him out and drags him back. But fuck it, man.
Although
Pilots are rare.
And this isn't necessarily an issue with this scene, but I do have to say his whole thing was how he didn't think he could drift with somebody again because of experiencing his brother's death, and yet he never has a problem when he actually drifts again.
He does. He remembers his brother's
Well, at
death,
least-
and that causes
as
him
I
that
say-
much
He doesn't resist it in any way. He does have a flashback, yes, and I do think there should have been a bit more of that. But I also think he should have had some more conscious resistance as well.
Yeah, I could definitely see your point there.
Right.
actual
Like
PTSD.
they're building him up as a PTSD situation and drawing the drama from that, but it's like they're not sure how to actually do that and kind of give it up once there's a partnership.
Interesting point. The fact his brother died might have helped him able to solo pilot a Jaeger. Because he
Maybe.
would have gone into shock,
Possibly.
because he would have felt the death on the mental level.
Oh, you
He
mean,
would've gone into shock.
you mean when
Yeah.
he did it in
Yeah.
the beginning?
So
Okay.
yeah, so he would have gone into shock, at which point it's all going on automatic and he's not thinking.
So there's less chances for neural damage. I can see that.
So I think that's why he's able to solo pilot.
just like when you're in shock, you can travel despite being what should be in tremendous
And he doesn't
pain.
go home. He doesn't go back to the base. He just wanders towards coastline.
Right.
He's blatantly in shock. Although you're a pilot on one of the most famous Jaegers on the planet, and even if a fisherman found you, you can't just vanish. Like, shut up! I'll give you an autograph. Just don't tell anyone you saw me.
You're wandering around in a giant 250-foot tall football player. I don't think you're gonna be that hard to find.
And plus, you look like a reject from a Sentai show.
What the hell?
No. No. Gundam Maxter looks like it escaped from a Sentai show.
What was with the yellow liquid in the helmet?
Orange
It's-
juice?
Tang!
Another slight reference to
They're not
Evangelion.
astronauts.
Like literally, it's an empty helmet. They put it on their heads, fills up with orange liquid, then it drains out again.
Subtle nod to the abyss?
I say Evangelion because don't you remember they had the yellow stuff in the suits or whatever it was?
Okay, here's my point. Why the fuck are you bothering to be subtle about Evangelion? They have the walkway in front of the Gypsy Danger's head as the symbolic, symbolic imagery from Evangelion. They have the head screw into the body like the entry plug in Evangelion. The ending has a similar visual aspect to it as Evangelion.
No, I say the ending's more Battlefield Earth meets Independence Day.
No, it's not, because Gypsy Danger is crucified. It goes into the crucified in front of a dog.
Wow.
No. If it was that, there'd be giant cross explosions all through the planet.
No, him.
Oh,
Yep.
Battlefield Earth meets Roland Emmerich. That's
Oh.
Come on, don't you think that the aliens looked a lot like the aliens from Independence Day?
Yeah.
And they fly,
Yeah.
and they use one of their own to get into their
Yeah.
base. They don't really notice, and then that explosion goes off.
Dude,
Mhm.
Independence Day is a prequel to this. It was the aliens' first attempt. It was the aliens' first attempt to invade. That failed, so they're doing a flanking maneuver via another dimension.
I can just see that now. Good news, sir. We have discovered that Will Smith has now died in this time. Good. Send in the kaiju.
And they have and
Open the rift!
And they have run out of
warp again.
and they have run out of Randy Quaid's.
Jeff Goldblum is still alive, but no longer involved.
he's
Very good.
pretty much
He's
rendered
too
useless
busy
now.
off being Jeff Goldblum somewhere else. Probably going on about the recycling again.
Besides, don't they have our FC-16? Fuck it, we've got these monsters.
Bill Pullman's still around, but really nobody gives a shit about Bill Pullman anymore.
Very good.
our next scene was
That's actually the Shadow Dome.
we're showing up the Shadow Dome, and this I originally thought it was kind of weird until I realized what the character was, because when you first meet Mako, you're not sure who she is, and you kind of think she's some sort of employee, secretary, aide, administrator, something of that nature, and it's kind of weird that her act, talking about the guy in front of him without checking if he knows Chinese or whatever, initially seems
Japanese.
kind of weird. Oh, was it?
Japanese.
Yeah,
They said Japanese multiple times. She is
Oh, okay.
Japanese.
Yeah, because Unababa
But
and
she's from
Kyoto
Hong Kong.
were born in Tokyo.
But she's from Hong Kong.
No, they're
No, she's
living
from Japan.
because that's what Sakura Dome
Huh.
is. Because Tokyo
I thought he
is a
saved her
no-go
from Hong
area.
Kong. Okay.
Tokyo's fucked because Onibaba and Kyoto can go level bit.
But my point there was, eventually you realize that she's essentially not his employee but his daughter, and then you all of a sudden realize that scene makes perfect sense.
I'm gonna run down to Family Dollar, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, whatever. What?
Mert?
Someone got interrupted.
Yeah, apparently.
I wish you could find a Marco in the Dollar General.
You can't find
Okay,
Mako.
no.
You can find Naked Tsunami and the guy from Samurai Jack.
Samurai Jack. Samuel Jackson? No, wait.
No, I was saying it was like Mako, the guy who played Aku. Before the time when the Jaegers first attacked.
There was an age undreamed of.
I, Aku, led the kaiju to conquer the world.
But
Wait.
then a foolish Jaeger pilot.
First of all, that is an outstanding Mako. Second of
Thank
all,
you. I
Second of all-
appreciate the compliment.
General Iroh played Aku.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was also Splinter in the TMNT movie.
Yes, he
Mhm.
was.
Yes.
They should have called him as the inventor of the Jaegers.
Yeah. If he was still alive, that would have been awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I can just see a clip now of poor Doug Walker having to put up another face of Mako, please, and
Yeah.
begging, please don't yell at us for pronouncing his name wrong.
Marco.
It's like
Mako,
Mako, Mako. It's like both in the same movie. It's like Mako. No, not Mako. Mako.
And
Heard
then,
it three different ways. It's he doesn't seem to really care.
we're introduced to three characters very quickly. Because not only do we get
Arguably
Mako, we
more
get
than
the
that.
two. No. That's in that scene. Sorry, the following next scene. We're still developing Mako, and they suddenly throw the scientists in.
Mm-hmm.
Weren't the triplets introduced before the scientists?
No, the triplets.
No, the scientists were along when they came in. I don't think they even really introduced it to triplets. They're just, they're triplets, and they're playing
Well,
basketball.
They walked back, then they explained who they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, they meet the scientists in the lift, going down. Scientists bugger off. They enter the Shatter Dome, and they meet the other teams.
And Owen Harper is playing a nationality-confused scientist.
Possibly,
I thought he was
possibly
more
you
playing
as well.
just kind of. I thought the scientist was just a fanboy and someone trying to do a really bad British Jeffrey Combs impression.
Oh no! Here's the thing. I forget his real name, but Owen. I'll call him Owen because I know him from Torchwood.
Mhm.
He's playing a German until he whips out the whole "By Jove," and I'm like, aren't you German?
No!
Do you really care in this movie? You're just watching robots fight.
No one cares what pronunciation I go for anymore at this point.
No one cares
Just
what
said I'm
the-
going to attach my brain to the brain of a giant lizard.
Look, we've already got the Chinese triplets and a guy who looks like a combination between Drago and Zangief. Nobody cares.
And he's a Canadian.
And Brigitte Nielsen, what are you doing here?
And one black guy.
But it's
Because we
funny,
have
though.
to have the
And
black guy.
But he
of course.
doesn't die first.
Heck, he's one of the last couple people to
Now
die.
you say that, I'm like, oh, but he does die.
Eventually, but we'll get to
Let's
that.
get close to the Shakespearean.
then again, even Samuel L. Jackson dies, so...
Yeah,
Well,
when he gets
let's
attacked by
just
a
go
shark.
shark.
Shark ate me!
Or he gets attacked by raptors.
I'm headed with these motherfucking sharks on this motherfucking sea face.
What
There
about
we
the
go.
Raptors?
Avengers 2, Ian McDermott does a flip into S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters and stabs Nick Fury in the chest.
Back on topic.
It's like,
Oh,
hey, that's cool.
Too late.
And we're introduced. We get the cameos of the other pilots and the Jaegers. At which point, I would like to quickly pose this question to you guys. Favorite Jaeger?
Crimson Typhoon. I just love the design of it. Like Gypsy Danger's just this standard bulk. It just looks like a football player. Crimson Typhoon, you've got this cool eye, you've got the grapple hand, you've got the extra 2 arms on one side. That's a cool design. I love that.
It's only got 3 arms, and I know the fingers turn into buzzsaw.
Yeah, Buzzsaw. That's awesome.
Okay, Matt?
The Russians, I can't remember their name.
Kermo Alpha.
Cherno Alpha.
Okay,
The
there it
only
is.
Jaeger whose
It
cockpit
just
is-
reminds me of Old School Mech Warrior. I love Old School Mech Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
Yeah,
the
cockpit-
helmets remind me of Splinter Cell a bit.
Oh
So the helmets. Okay, for the record, the Russians had the best drive suits.
Yes.
The actual
Because they
pilots
got all
had
the
coolest-
armor and the spikes on it.
It looked like a Fallout power armor.
Yep.
But what it reminded me of is the drive suits from Full Metal Panic, where the Russians in that, in their mechs, had similar gear. But anyway, okay. Bill, or Man in Black, favorite Jaeger?
I would probably go with Crimson Typhoon, although I do wish we got to see it in combat a bit more. And of course, its one scene in combat is one of the times when I had stepped out of the theater, and I would not have thought it had such a short lifespan. But such was the case.
Okay. And our other guests? I don't know the name.
Well, are you talking about like favorite mech?
Favorite mech, yeah.
I would probably have to say Gypsy Danger.
So we got a really nice spread.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a aesthetic to fit everyone.
Although I'm kind of surprised that no nation on Earth had decided to build a kaiju mech, because you'd think someone would have come up with that as the idea. You know, if the mechs are kicking our ass, why don't we? I mean, if the kaiju are kicking our ass, why don't we build a kaiju? But it never happened.
Like build like a actual like living kaiju or a mechanical kaiju.
Mechanical.
I don't know. I think it'd be kind
Mechagodzilla,
of
if you
easier to try and control something that's more human than trying to control a giant
Yeah, animal.
fish lizard with knives and such.
Also,
Yeah.
just for the record, my favorite was Tacit Ronin.
Wait, which one was that?
Yes, was the film. Right at the beginning, you know the show reel
Yeah.
And they cameoed loads of different mechs. It's the one who look like it's some armored core. It's a Generation 1 Japanese mech, and it's very angular.
Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can literally just like if Matt puts in Tacit Ronin from
Run.
yeah.
Was it? What was it? Ronin.
Yeah, that one.
The white one here, yeah.
Top left. Yeah, that's him. No, there. Yeah, because that's from the art book.
I love the way you're pointing at the screen, like you're seeing what you're doing.
Oh shit. Yeah, this is how it's like to control Jaeger. No, left.
Counterclockwise! Counterclockwise!
The middle hand is on the 2, and the big one is in
Up,
the face.
down, right, A, B, start.
Left. Like,
Don't let go of A! You let go of A, you fool!
X is
You
left.
can't get
No,
unlimited continues in a
semicircle,
Jaeger.
then A and B.
up, down, left, right.
Nah, you have to. What is it? You do the R1, L1, circle,
Like-
square, up, down.
I need to pause. Press the start button. There is no start button.
Why does the controller not have a start button?
This has to be a parody, or
Grand Theft
someone
Auto
has to
Bazooka.
redub it. So it's like circle strike. Where's the shoulder buttons?
Oh, barrel!
How am I supposed to do a barrel roll?
No, there's a D-pad within the cockpit, and they just have to use that, and they are using like DDR mat or something.
Yeah, like in Megas XLR.
Yeah.
For the record, from the main cast of Jaegers, not like the extra ones, Striker's my favorite.
Yeah. Striker's pretty cool. Those chest cannons are pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's got the sting blades. It's got a missile launcher in its chest. It looks like a sports car.
I think it looks more like an anime kind of mech, because it's got the angles and the blades, and it's built for speed and combat.
But from the actual design briefs, if you look at Striker Eureka's chest, it's like the back of a sports car.
Oh, yeah,
It's like a Corvette.
Yeah.
So it's a mixture of a midlife crisis and a young guy with something to prove because he's compensating.
I think he's compensating for some.
But yeah, Russians had the best drive suits. So yeah. Although when I saw this film with my mate, he immediately pointed out the flaw. Why the hell didn't the Japanese just automate the giant Gundam statue they have?
Maybe that was the first thing they tried.
If you say that, I'm pretty sure they've got several Godzillas scattered throughout the country as well.
Mechagodzillas.
They have at least one Godzilla, but I don't think any of them's really huge. They do have a huge Ultraman, though.
Yeah. just like
Also,
just
I can just imagine the theme playing from the sound system inside of that thing as it's marching off.
Ultraman.
Honestly, if I had one choice of something to appear in here, a remix of the Jet Jaguar theme.
Jet Jaga, yep, got it, Jaga.
Oh, God.
Great, now I just want to see one of the kaijus do that drop kick from Godzilla vs. Megalon.
Oh, my tail's dragging on the ground!
Kaiju flying like Godzilla did in Godzilla vs. the Smoke Monster.
Oh, God.
Something that
Yeah,
you
that
don't
was-
see every day.
Yeah, oh, they got it. If they tried to make it too much like that, they include all the crazy music and stuff.
Something I would have loved to see in this film, which you want to see in a prequel or a sequel or whatever, is when they drop multiple Jaegers to take on a single kaiju. Just to see that complete messed up world. Because it's even referenced in the movie, because Hercules Hansen and Stacker Pentecost, they ran as duos, and Hercules and Wiley took part in a 3-Jaeger operation. That was
Nice.
in the I think.
That is awesome.
That is cool.
Mm-hmm.
They do want to do a crossover Like I said, he does want to cross over Godzilla with it.
I was at the end of the movie.
I don't know if that's still gonna. I don't know if that's still a possibility because Pacific Rim was Warner Brothers and they cut the deal off with Legendary.
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah.
So unless they had dual rights or unless Del Toro kept the rights, it's not going to happen.
I would imagine Del Toro would have kept the rights.
Well, I would imagine Del Toro kept
Yeah.
keeping it. It was his baby.
Yeah, could you imagine WB going to Michael Bay and saying, "Hey, how would you like to direct another giant robot movie?"
He is.
Oh.
Yeah,
Don't
Like,
remind
get it.
us.
it's like yet another.
Okay, anyway. Shadow Dome.
Can we get beyond Shadow Dome?
Oh! Oh god, I can't wait till the month that I have to review Mad Max movies.
Anyway. Once we get beyond Shadow Dome. I hate you.
Oh,
You're welcome.
What is the next scene?
Next thing that I would find interesting to remark on is the essentially martial arts tournament that they had going on.
Yes,
Yeah.
by
And-
the space pilot.
This is an example of where I can see the way to improve it, but I don't know if I would because they are going tropish, and that's they have a martial arts competition where everyone uses a staff. You know what the Jaegers never use?
A staff!
Exactly.
I will point out why. In this martial arts competition, the main point of it is to have Mako versus Riley. If they were doing Jaeger combat, which is like mixed martial arts, which we got when Riley fought the younger pilot of Stryker, because that's actually Jaeger combat, you know, just wailing on each other. That would have just like absolutely
But no,
destroyed the actress.
You know what would have been an option? Shinai.
What?
The a kendo practice sword, because you know what, Jaegers actually do have swords.
No, they don't.
Right.
They have blades strapped to their forearms.
But still, I would say a Shinai competition would be a better gauge of your ability to fight in at least approximating a Jaeger.
I'd say size.
The-
It's
But
The
I
size
don't
aren't
think
large
there's-
enough.
I don't think there's a practice version of a Sai, and they're
Okay.
not actually out to gut each other.
to be fair, a boxing match would have been better.
Yeah.
But nowhere near as awesome.
No. Okay, if you wanted to do a proper Jaeger combat thing, you have had a cage match.
Hey, we go back to
Give us on
the
the
Shadow
episode of a
Dome.
kaiju. They put him in with like some kind of crocodile bear thing.
I bet you that's how the Russians do it.
That's why the Australians were such good Jaeger pilots.
The original Russian Jaeger, the Red Cyclone. I can just see him just doing the pile drive on a kaiju.
You know, and he trained by wrestling bears.
And it's an alternate universe where Steve Irwin, instead of being a crocodile hunter, was a Jaeger pilot.
Rocky, I'll be at Striker Eureka.
Watch me as I shove this laser cannon up its bum!
And then there's a
It's
giant.
only level 2, so there's very little danger here.
As a one-shot fanfic, I will fucking take you to Pacific Rim again.
Oh god. And then there was the Stingray kaiju.
Was category 3.
No, I kind of
It pierced his reactor.
I kind of want to see this as, like, you know how The Matrix and a few other things did, like, the animated shorts as, like, a separate movie, or as, like,
Batman
or as, like, a YouTube thing before the actual movie came out, that type of stuff.
Mhm.
An anime thing with a Steve Irwin parody killed by a Stingray kaiju.
That'd be kind of uncomfortable.
Like the crocodile kaiju.
No, the crocodile kaiju was Raiju. Because it looked like a crocodile and it had that weird mouse thing and then got bifurcated.
And like, where the fuck's Steve Irwin? He knows how to fight these things. Also,
Quick, block it with your chest.
And now what we've got to do is punch it in the goalies. Because I'm the only one that can hit you.
an Australian accent, but I'd be like, that's one kaiju down, pop it on the barbie.
I wonder what kaiju would taste like.
Probably tastes like ammonia and acid.
But if you cooked it probably at the right temperature or something and got rid of it, it'd probably just taste rubbery.
It's radioactive.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't want to eat radioactive meat.
I bet some did. If there was, if there's a religion about it, drink the blood of our saviors who have come from the heavens to punish the
Actually,
unbelievers.
that would be an interesting scene. The first person who tries to take a bite out of it and dies from their insides rupturing.
No.
It wouldn't be like rupturing, it'd be more like melting.
The first person to chow down on kaiju was Hannibal Chow.
Hannibal Chow's chow.
Gorge down on some Gigan wings.
Gigan wings, get them now.
We're a Category 5 restaurant of kaiju proportions.
Come on, the day someone saw a monster that big, someone's gonna think, I wonder what it tastes like smothered in barbecue sauce.
Covered in butter.
There probably are restaurants where someone just sells fish, but they call it like a kaiju meal or whatever.
Although I do imagine when they killed Onibaba, they probably ate it. Come on, it's a giant crab, and the second I saw it dead, I'm like, somebody get out the butter.
If they do that
enemy crab.
From Stacker Pentagost's view, I do want Mission Control to scream in his ear, hit it in its weak point!
Aim for the tentacles!
Hit it for great justice!
And
for
then
extra points!
Shining finger!
It's like, activate Shining Finger! I don't know what that is, but I'll give it a finger!
Anybody else wish we saw a bit more Top Gun between all the Jaeger pilots?
So you just want Jaegers playing volleyball?
Not
Instead of the martial arts tournament, just have play volleyball.
But instead of
simulated combat.
What we
simulated combat. Cherno Alpha beating the shit out of Gypsy.
Actually, that would have been better than the scene where, for practice, they put them behind the live weapons and aimed it at the boss. That's a great idea for practice.
But what person would love to be in that situation?
But most people would pull the trigger.
I also love the fact that they aim the plasma cannon. The Russians are right in front of it, and they're just like, eh, and walk off.
Probably leave.
Oh, this is happening again. I remember this. It just walks off.
In Soviet Russia, we aim plasma cannon back at you.
Apparently, they have apparently, Cherno Alpha has Tesla fists and a flamethrower built into its neck.
For a second there, I thought you were going to say Cherno Alpha has a Tesseract, and I was like, what? So wait, you're saying that the controllers of the kaiju are Chitauri? We'll still beat one up. It's like, we don't have anything the size of a kaiju. Quick, Hulk, what pisses you off? We need you to
Justin Bieber!
The fact that we're gonna lose out to Grown Ups 2!
But not.
Oh.
I'm just kind of thinking, take the parts you need to make a Jaeger, and then insert Tony Stark.
Iron Jaeger.
Kaiju Buster armor.
Fuck you! Also, actually, side note, because, Tony Stark automatically upgrades tech in a radius around him, because in the third movie, someone holds a flip phone in front of him and it turns into a smartphone.
Truly, Tony Stark is the god of technology.
Tony Stark is the Messiah.
It's so great. You're welcome.
He is Technus. God.
I am Technus, master of all technology.
So what it was basically what we get at the Shadow Dome is we get two characters that fight, one character who has another subplot, and the cafeteria. It would have been nice to see just some friendly competition, some banter,
Some more interaction or pilots.
Yeah, seriously, give the triplets something to talk about. I don't think they even said anything.
Yeah, I don't think they said a word.
I don't think the Russians got a line, and I don't think the triplets got a line.
The Russians did get lines in the fight. So that
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they got a whole lot to say.
Yeah, this is like, there's one guy over there, there's one guy over there. Oh God!
Russians of another.
And I think the last thing they said was,
And the room goes quiet.
Yeah. That was still something annoying me. I still can't believe that they got rid of them that quickly.
sorry, was that
Yeah,
too
I
loud?
hate sacrificial lions. I hated when movies do this.
Yeah, and it still pissed me off that,
Good.
that we still see, like, Crimson Typhoon. This awesome design with this massive hand and buzzsaw arms and doing this awesome
And the
throw
fact that its
move.
waist can turn
And then...
And they get wasted in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, and
Here's
the
a-
Russian
it
one,
makes
really?
sense.
Just one spit of acid and it's being eaten through? Right
Actually,
away?
Yes, because they were specifically designed to do that. That's the whole
Actually,
point.
here's an idea. If they had all the information, why not build some kind of speedy acid-spewing kaiju that just gets out of the way of a kaiju, spews acid from a long distance away, then spews it at a city?
That's basically Otachi. Basically what they did, when the scientists drifted with the kaiju brain,
Yeah,
and they learned about all the Jaegers, they took 2 of the Jaegers they had ready to go, and they took some extra organs and stapled them on to make them more effective.
yeah.
So Otachi got the acid to beat up Cherno, but Otachi was already quick, nimble, and had like 3 offensive limbs, so he could actually match Cherno Alpha blow for blow. Leatherback was the big heavy one to match Cherno Alpha, and he also had the EMP to knock everything out. Also notice, Otachi and Leatherback gang up on Cherno Alpha and rip that to shreds before they use the EMP, because Generation 1s are immune to EMP attacks. And not because they're analog. Fuck you, movie! Not what it needs. But here's a fun fact. Generation 1's nuclear reactors, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you got a nuclear reactor, the structure which houses it tends to also have a Faraday cage. Hence immunity from EMP. Also, the fact Gypsy Danger wasn't affected by EMP was because it was fucking turned off. EMP is not that effective when something's turned off. So that would have been funny for the Australians to do. You lost our power! Open the reactor and start whacking it! It'll be fine in a minute!
Take the flare guns and shoot them into the reactor.
No, because they don't have nuclear reactors. They should have like a little hand pump. Like, you know when you have those little, in Western,
Yeah.
the little platforms on the train tracks, where you have 2 guys on the other side just pumping it. They should have had that.
We'll be
Now just
out in no time.
Now I'm just imagining the spinning wheel in the center of Gypsy Danger's chest is just a really big hamster.
They should have had that! The
It's
Australians
tiny.
running in hamster wheels.
This is Shadow Dome tech support. Did you try unplugging it and plugging it back in?
Control Alt Delete! Control Alt Delete!
All in GLaDOS voice.
Pushing the power button. Very much common mistake.
Alt tab! Alt tab!
I'm just imagining inside of a kaiju suit seeing the blue screen of death.
Hello, welcome to Smell Tech Support. How
Oh,
may I help you?
son! Stop downloading illegal porn on the Jaeger! I wonder if Jaegers have Wi-Fi.
You do try checking the cords. Very much common mistake.
Also, question. Why no satellite weaponry? Because by this point, we have these in real life. You just get like a kill sat.
Bahamut Zero?
Pretty much.
Just kind of have to wait until it gets in alignment while it destroys the city.
Also, one last Jaeger joke that to get out before I'm done. Your 30-day trial subscription to the Drift has expired.
Would you like to re-up your prescription now?
Also,
Do you want to upgrade to Drift 7.0?
considering they had funding issues with the Yankees, why didn't they sell advertising space on the damn things?
Yeah, I could see that.
That's from the
Gypsy
sequel.
Danger, sponsored by the Energizer Bunny, just keeps going and going and going.
You
Come
though
on.
shouldn't.
Chemo Alpha, sponsored
That-
by Enron. Oh,
That
We
would-
take your money and run.
That would be the perfect opportunity for product placement too.
Yeah,
No, that would be if Michael Bay made this movie.
Yeah.
like at least Gypsy Danger, like
Yeah. You know how many movies I've seen that they would have just put a Dr. Pepper sign on Gypsy Danger's leg?
the thing is, as humans, we would do that.
Did you ever see the
Yeah.
movie Mystery Men?
Yeah.
Remember, what was it, Captain whatever it is, and he's basically covered in all the
Nothing but
logos and stuff like
logos,
that?
Yeah.
I can just imagine that Gypsy Danger would end up looking like that.
Or Gypsy Danger, like any football club which funds the Shadow Dome will paint Gypsy Danger in your colors.
It's like try this proton cannon, sponsored by Starbucks.
Again, when I saw this was my mate, something he really wanted was to see the Aperture Science logo somewhere. Because you know they're involved.
It was a triumph. We killed all the kaiju and saved
They should have had that. They should have had that.
And then once they were done, they had some cake.
Exactly. Like it's like this is the operation to wipe out the to wipe out the.
Or how about this? They create a giant portal gun and put a kaiju in that constant falling loop.
So, what's the next scene that someone would change?
After the Shadow Dome, it's the experimental drift.
We kind of covered that a little bit, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, after that, it was subplot when we meet Hannibal Chow.
That's quite a bit on.
Because we do get the subplot with him drifting with the kaiju brain,
Right.
and then because they're grounded from the failed test, so the kaiju attack, guys meeting Hannibal Chow, Jaeger sent out. Any comments so far?
Not really.
Okay, we hit the Hannibal Chow phase.
Yeah.
No complaints about Hannibal Chow.
Honestly, this is partially because I'm not particularly familiar with the actor, but I really do not for the size of the role that he was given, he played it too big. I think if he was a villain,
heck no.
or if he was villainous in some way, he would have done. He would have played it perfectly. But for what was written, I think he was too over the top.
He has to be.
No, dude.
I-
He's coming back
I-
next one, guarantee it.
Well, I think Del Toro just said, Ron, he's like, Ron, just be awesome.
No.
I don't think he had a costume. He just brought out a bunch of stuff that he had, like in a trunk. He's like, "I'm Hannibal Chow. Okay, we'll write you into the script."
Actually,
I'll
Like, do you have a...
hang on, guys. 'Cause from what I heard, was they specifically made Hannibal Chow over the top to make the kaiju more credible.
Really?
That's what I heard. I have to do more research, but yeah.
That sounds like something Toho would do.
It does sound like something old school Toho would probably do, yeah.
I think we're gonna have like Guy
I'm just
Ganner,
picturing, like, the
Ghidorah show up with
I'm picturing
Hannibal
like the
Chow to seem
politicians
realistic.
in Mothra versus Godzilla.
You mean the ominous council of ominous from like Avengers?
Well, I'm just thinking.
That's what Idris Elba had to deal with.
The council of brightly lit assholes who secretly run the world.
It's
We can see your faces, by the way. Oh, shit.
Power
No, you
spoof?
can't. This is a bad Skype call. You can't see us.
Nothing to see here!
Pay no attention to the politician slash puppet man.
The pasty doughy guy is only an illusion.
well, we could have just had like oh, hang on, hold the meeting. We just lost Australia. Wait for him to get back in the call.
It's like, damn Wi-Fi.
You know, we should have done this on Google Plus.
We can't. The last kaiju ate Google.
Okay, actually no, it doesn't matter. That can wait.
And took a shit on Microsoft.
Oh, I can do that. I can do that.
We don't even and we never want to talk about what they did to Capcom.
Lasertech, built from Metal Gear specs. Anyway, because DARPA does get a shout out. Your technology comes
We
from
don't want to
Fighter
cover what they did
so
to Capcom. Just one hint, don't buy a match.
Moving on. Let's see, guys.
Were you wondering if they had reproductive organs? They do.
Next scene, guys.
I think it was are you talking like after the? Are you talking like when Gypsy Danger comes onto the scene and starts kicking ass? Or?
Well, we can talk about the fight, but I think we already have.
Bullshit!
This is before Gypsy enters.
Yes, bullshit.
Yeah. I would have at least liked to have seen them take out one of the kaijus before.
At least one. Yeah.
Before getting killed mercilessly.
Yeah, like have like 3 kaiju. One's like the one that makes them all cocky, like, haha, we beat that easily. Told you guys we're great. Wait, we're getting 2 more. Wait, 2 more. And then the ones that are actually like designed to take down Crimson Typhoon and Cherno Alpha.
Also, they could have explained that more, because all they say is that the kaiju have red Newt's brain from the drift, and they never really explain, like an extra line, like for example, like, what do you know about the Jaegers? They know it too now.
Yeah.
That's something like that. Although Otachi was hilariously overdone.
Although that being said, you would it kind of makes you wonder, like, how fast do they put these kaijus together?
They're assembled.
I don't know, and I still wonder like what they're doing with like all those extra knife heads that they had in the background. Remember when they're showing the drift? It's like all those knife heads. Are they just going to keep them there as souvenirs or something, or?
We also don't know the time differential. We don't know that time moves the same on both sides of the rift. Time could be faster there.
That actually could have been either time's like moves faster in comparison to our world, so maybe he could have like been an old man as soon as he popped out of the pod. It's like, oh, Riley, you look more distinguished.
I saved the freaking world. Give me a kiss. Again.
I think it might have been. I think it might have been funnier. I think it would have been funnier if time passed slower in the other world, and then it came back, and it's like 30 years later, his pod pops up, and then Mako's there. She's an old woman.
Oh shit!
She's an old woman. She's like, Mako, come here and Gaia.
So no, jumping ahead. Jumping way ahead.
Kind of.
Yeah. Okay, dragging things back. Sorry. Okay, we talked about the bullshit of that fight scene, which Bill can't talk about because he was in the toilet. There was some cool things. It was a cool fight until they died.
Again, they just cut to the dying way too quickly on that. Is the main problem with that particular fight.
Crimson took on Otachi pretty okay.
Yeah.
And Cherno, beat the shit out of it. And then Otachi and Leatherback ripped Cherno apart.
Now, basically, it's not even that. Otachi just like grabs his head and chucks it.
Yep. Whereas Cherno Alpha is drowned. And
then Leatherback grabs him and causes the reactor to explode, I think.
Yeah. Ugh. I'm surprised it didn't actually destroy Stryker. It's just like, it's asleep.
I do have one comment about that fight, because if they're really trying to draw in tokusatsu or otaku fan base, there really should have been some sort of method, even if it was intended by the engineers but never actually put forward, to combine the mechs.
No.
That would
There
be
were
crazy
exactly-
awesome, but I don't
There
think
were
it'd be kind
exactly
of
5 mechs, and they were mostly different colors.
No.
Perfect.
No.
Oh, that would be too
Combination
unrealistic.
Combination attack.
We need Mega Jaeger now!
No, 'cause think about it.
I'm just imagining when they get to the rift, it's just Rita Repulsa.
Throughout the war, it was always several Jaegers on one Jaeger, so several Jaegers on one Kaiju. So they would have like formations and team attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like even for example, like we need Striker in reserve to do the run. Okay, cool. Give it a disposable rocket launcher to provide long range support.
yeah, or like have one of the mechs sit on one of the other ones and have like basically like a Kali type of formation.
Or no, it should have done like a boost. Cherno Alpha should have like linked its fingers. Cherno Alpha stepped on it, and Crimson Typhoon stepped on Cherno Alpha's hands, and Cherno Alpha just tossed it.
Didn't the Gold Ranger have a Zord that essentially that was its finishing move? It's been a while since I watched Zeo.
All Jaegers have finishing moves. Striker Unique is the Macross Missile Massacre. Gypsy Danger has a reactor vent.
He has the power sword.
No. He's got the Iron Man's Unibeam from the chest.
And Crimson Typhoon's got its blade hands, and...
No. In the games they actually give it the actual attack, but I don't know what it is off the top of my head.
I'm just imagining it's just like they spin around and make like a little tornado or something.
Actually, why the fuck did they do that?
They really should have.
Its waist can go 360 degrees. We saw that in the fight. So why didn't it just go hands out and just start spinning?
That's why when I hear Crimson Typhoon, I'm like, that should be the name of its finishing move.
I think it is.
Or essentially, just turning into a tornado of red fists spinning at supersonic speeds.
Yeah, exactly, because red ones go 3 times faster.
Really?
What? What? 3 times faster than an ordinary Jaeger.
God, it's red.
Exactly. Red ones go faster. Okay, so they do the whole sacrificial lion thing, and then they throw Gypsy Danger into the fight. Fight against Leatherback.
Well, if we proved that the protagonist is smart and can learn from his mistakes, unfortunately, I don't think that actually becomes relevant later on, but he does learn from the mistake that cost his brother his life, so that's something.
Mm-hmm.
They do also show the use of... Basically, they show him he's an effective fighter, because he pretty much goes, that's the EMP organ, rips it off.
I just kind of like check the pulse, flays the body from inside, nukes the shit.
He's
like,
no
damn.
pulse.
Remind me never to need you to check my pulse.
And then they just basically double tap the bastard. And actually, there's one thing during that fight that kind of annoyed me. When they're fighting, like, with all the shipping boxes, and they're pushing right near the edge, there were still freaking seagulls sitting on the pier. Really? The seagulls weren't smart enough to realize, yeah, there's a giant freaking monster coming, maybe we should run, or fly away or something.
Oh,
Like,
so,
You're like blind or deaf.
Yeah, like, I mean, look at the movie like Day After Tomorrow. At least the birds were smart enough to know storm is coming, fly away.
I don't know quite this crowd well enough to know if we're going to get one flavor of comment or two on this, but the ship sword.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, the ship liner being used as a club.
Yeah, because my
I said more baseball bat.
I'd say more Vulcan.
Boom.
And Gypsy Danger swings for the fences.
Wind up, and Ochachi is out of there.
They foreshadow those techniques in the martial arts,
Yep.
Yeah.
True.
but pointless.
It is
They should
supposed
have
to
training about having blades on your knuckles.
They're like, quick, use the cooling gas. Why the fuck does Gypsy Danger have that?
It was,
Why don't they have it on more of it? If
no, it was
makes the monsters just go,
they were venting the steam from the nuclear reactor or whatever.
Why did it freeze the tail then? Why did it boil it?
Well, he said like, wait, I don't remember that. Maybe they had two different types of gas they were venting.
No,
maybe it was like liquid nitrogen, or maybe it's silicon based.
They vented coolant, which makes sense because any machine that size is going to need a lot of coolant.
Okay.
And then they also vented literally the heat from the nuclear reactor inside in the chest.
Was I the only one who, like, they cut off the wing, and I immediately was going, like, from Riley's perspective, fuck, 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 that is
It's like, well, they were
Oh,
already.
you guys put in swords! Didn't you put in rocket boots?
Now,
or a parachute!
I can't help but they have a convenient sword button that they've known about all along, but just couldn't spare a glance when they were fighting for their lives. So at just the right moment, they hit sword, and
Yep.
it pops out.
when they're like 1,000 miles above the earth.
I could have easily forgiven that if there was a bolt of lightning while the sword came out.
Or if you hear
I have the Jaeger.
or if you hear the Voltron.
Was it Daizujin or its successor that had the sword with the lightning bolt? For the American only fans, was it the season 1 Megazord or the Thunder Zord?
Oh, season 1 I think had it already.
Yeah, I think it was season 1.
So okay, so that's Daizujin. Can never say it quickly. Daizujin sword.
God. But, yeah. And the argument is Kaiju Blue. They can't use it in a city because acidic radioactive blood. Using it in the lower atmosphere is okay? It's gonna be
because
nuclear
then you hit
Blue rain! Ah!
rain and blood.
What I love the fact is they also glossed over the fact where Gypsy Danger lands and stands up and everyone's like, yay, they're alive! And then Itachi's body falls on top.
Well, it was split. It was bifurcated, so you could see like the other half just like fell to the sides.
Yeah, just
So he
like
cut the wing off.
Apparently it wasn't a symmetrical cut considering the fetus was okay.
Yeah, he cut the wing off. That's it.
No, they didn't cut the wing off. It was like right down. Like it was like
No, the flyer, they cut the wing off.
It was a little more than the wing. It did die.
yeah. I'd say it was like
Arm. They went right through the wing and the arm.
yeah, and a little bit of the chest. I'd say there was a little bit of the chest in there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, okay,
Wait, no, they damaged the primary brain. I think no, the secondary brain. So
the secondary brain was damaged when it fell from orbit.
Yes, but they didn't know that right away.
I'm not surprised.
They actually had people inside
so
of it
that
before they
was
realized
touch
that.
damage.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I can see it.
Or, okay. Itachi being pregnant. Discuss.
Well,
Honestly, I see that as padding that they could have used to give more room to developing the other pilots.
Yeah.
Essentially Top Gunning it.
You mean cut off the entire drift scene with the scientists? Cut the subplot altogether.
I don't think they needed that for the pregnancy. No, I mean they didn't need the
cut
pregnancy
entire
for that.
subplot.
Which subplot? The pregnancy or the other one?
With
the
two
entire.
scientists drifting.
No, because the drifting was a major part of the resolution of the story.
Mm-hmm.
They could have come up with something else.
That, and as a classic Godzilla fan, I'm used to scientists having an important role in the story that we're following.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I did love that scene where he's like, we're gonna hit the rift with everything we got. We've got like a 300 kiloton nuclear device. It's like, you have no funding. Where'd you get that? Yeah, the Russians.
You know, people.
They just have it lying around.
I know a guy.
You know guys that know guy that know
Playing
guy.
like the Russians can get us anything.
Yeah, it's like, you know the Russians over there, they can
Which
get anything.
Pretty much the case nowadays. If you just need like weapons for something illegal, and you know some people, you know, like some Siberian gangsters, they'll find shit lying around that the Russian government does not know where it is.
Or you can just legally buy like Russian hardware.
He's like, Riley, you ever had sex while drifting?
Whoa!
Let's just say
Ow.
That's Michael Bay's version. We're not talking about that. Go in the corner.
Ew. Ew. So that must make drifting very awkward.
That's not drifting,
Make
that's
it
dripping.
It's like, I remember the first
Corner.
time.
Oh,
So you're into that kind of stuff,
I'm
eh?
actually talking over you, man.
Tentacles! Why weren't there tentacles?
There weren't any tentacles in this.
Yeah, they had a crab. They should have had a squid.
Yeah.
Because it would be a squid which would attack Tokyo.
Oh, no,
Just have, like,
absolutely.
just have the one that looks like the typical Cthulhu-esque monster with the
Yeah,
squid.
I gotta say, I'm relatively happy that there was no need for a Kraken to be attacking the scene with the young schoolgirl, because people would have put the wrong things together, and it would have become kind of squishy to
Oh,
watch.
yeah.
later.
What do you guys think of the flashback?
I like the flashback. It gave the
Yeah,
idea of like
effective.
fear and weakness and
I
the
like it.
ability to do anything.
I just wish it was a little more neutral, and that they didn't act like their mutual PTSD was resolved immediately after the flashback.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Also, the whole fact that it's from the perspective of a memory, so it is edited, because I really doubt a kaiju would specifically hunt her down. Or,
Yeah,
you know,
it was probably
the
slightly
glorious
edited, yeah.
sunlight behind Idris Elba.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Stacker! Pentecost!
Idris Elba's awesome!
No, it's like that was the shot you would have in the opening credits with like Idris Elba as Stacker Pentecost.
Or we're making fun of Spielberg and his love of backlighting.
Backlighting.
Backlights.
Yeah, because it's
Backlights.
James Cameron
More
with the lens.
backlights.
Okay.
And people looking
So
at things.
we've gone through that, which
It's
leaves
just
us
us people
with
movie. We need people looking at
well, the
things.
ending pretty much, the assault on the rift. With Stryker
I thought-
and Gypsy.
I thought they did a really good job with the ending fight.
Yeah,
and like the cool part where the swimming kaiju just kind of runs right into the sword and just splits itself in half.
I wonder what was going through its mind when that happened. My guess, 200 tons of steel.
No, it was oh
I
shit!
would have guessed. Oh,
It's
Smack,
like-
not again.
No, just like inertia. Fuck. Although I did like the fact that Idris Elba got a
Should I? It's like, should I?
which was a little bit Shakespearean. There
Mhm.
is like one phrase he says where it strikes me as a Shakespearean speech. Where he suddenly like drops the voice and is like, "Not this day." In almost like a casual way.
Yeah.
I know it's a really weird thing to pick up on, but it struck me.
One thing I always found hilarious about this scene was Slantern. I don't know what was about it, but I just found that monster to be hilariously funny looking. Like, it had this weird hammerhead kind of face and this big lower jaw. And the second when Slantern made its call, it just made this face that just made me think, Mama?
Sure.
Mama? Mama!
Well. Okay, no, the points to Slattern. He did take the most physical abuse of anything in that movie,
He took a
including
fucking
the nuclear.
burn to the
Yeah.
face.
Nuclear blast to the face.
Well, considering its roar, we can pretty much assume a nuclear blast to the face isn't going to phase it.
And then,
Because
and then you
it
basically ride
essentially
it down the
ate
rift like you're
Godzilla
fucking Gandalf
in
fighting the
order to-
Balrog.
When it was ever from when Slattern came out, it did the Godzilla roar, and my brain was 7 years old again.
Sure have
How
the
do you spell
door.
this monster's name again?
Slattern.
Slattern. Slattern.
Okay, there we are.
Slattern Kaiju. Yep. First image. Up. Yep. That's Slattern.
Okay. Yeah.
Planet for the win.
3 tails, interesting.
It was really more. It was almost like tentacles, like the way that it was spinning around in the water. It was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
The water fights were cool.
Yeah.
That's bad.
I
I think it was really cool, like when the
did
nuclear
find that
blast
fight-
went off and just like the
I did
water
find
just
that fight
displaced
too
itself.
hard to follow, if not just
Oh, God.
because the most visually distinct Jaegers were the ones that were already dead, and you're underwater, so you can't really quite get a clear look at any of the kaiju and what distinguishes them. They're all similarly colored, so it was kind of hard for me to keep track of that last fight.
Yeah.
Oh,
And the nuclear explosion underwater. Apparently that's true television. Yeah, apparently if you do detonate a nuclear device underwater, it will push the water away. Well, not push it away, just vaporize it.
oh.
That was cool though.
Yeah.
What's interesting, I've got to say, of all the things that distinguish this from a Japanese movie and make it obvious that it's not,
Nuclear weapons.
having a nuclear weapon save the day is pretty much a dead giveaway that it was not made in Japan.
But maybe they'll have it that the nuclear blast caused something to be awakened, and then they're in the Shadow Dome. They suddenly hear the Godzilla roar go off.
Again.
I wouldn't be
I want
surprised.
bigger.
Actually, wouldn't be surprised.
Actually, I had
But,
one idea that at the end of the movie, the aliens survived, and they're like, "What are we gonna do now? We call in help." And all of a sudden, you hear the sound of slicing buzzsaws and a red visor, or you see six yellow eyes glowing in the darkness.
Yeah, I was going to say, if anything,
Yes.
I mean, Ghidorah's existence has always been as a method for aliens to take over the Earth. What better reason for these two to cross over than for these aliens who have had their biggest weapon thrown back in their face to send fucking Ghidorah through the hole?
Also, Godzilla's a Scout Generation 0.5 kaiju they sent through to eliminate the dinosaurs.
No,
Yeah,
the,
but-
I read it
the
said
Godzilla saw
dinosaurs
was,
were those kaiju.
I really
Godzilla
got
was what he tried to
wiped out
send
the
through.
dinosaurs.
Then it mutated and became stronger.
Yes. Actually, no, yeah. The kaiju being dinosaurs, I like that. But it can go either way. It's never really explained.
Yeah,
I agree.
I
I
read
read
I
that scene
kaiju
both ways.
dinosaurs when they first
I read
came
that
here.
scene both ways. Either the kaiju were the dinosaurs, or the kaiju wiped them out. They really don't pick one.
Yeah, like,
It
I don't
seems to me
think
like
they
they
could
were
be
the
the dinosaurs, because, I don't know, they're just like these silicon-based creatures that, from what I've been hearing about the kaiju, so...
Where do you get the silicon?
Yeah, where the fuck did that come from?
I don't know, they just, the way that they designed it, I thought they were silicon-based life forms.
Oh, they're ammonia.
Ammonia, right.
It's something to do with ammonia. Pee on them.
Well, these ammonia, ammonia slows down the degradation process.
Oh, I do like the fact that all the concept art for all the Jaegers looks like the stuff you'd get at a build-it-yourself model kit from Gundam.
True.
And that's specific. They specifically mentioned that on purpose. Okay,
Old school.
Packer and the young Australian dying, and not 5 minutes later they show Jaegers have escape pods.
Yeah, but
Oh, come on, there's no way you're gonna get
They
out of
blew
a
up-
nuclear
yeah,
blast like that.
if they shut out the escape pod, all that happened is Slattern would have ate them.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd have been too busy
He's
eating
like-
the Jaeger.
And it's like, okay,
Or-
we're
or
free!
a
Gulp.
fucking headache, because he would have headbutted the other kaiju.
Well, also, you have to think of the fact that these are kaiju that are specifically made to destroy these robots, which means that they probably knew that there was escape pods, and if they did go off, chase it, kill them.
Yep, probably. I just had to raise that issue before someone did in the comments.
I'm still trying to figure out though how Gypsy Danger blew up its own power source in order to, and then still managed to have the people escape.
Wibbly wobbly timey wimey.
A wizard did it?
Maybe it's an exit only?
Maybe.
The Wizard of Speed and Time!
Riley was about to die, and then a blue box showed up inside Gypsy Danger.
Doctor Who versus Godzilla.
I'm working on that crossover, damn it!
What, is it like the Zygon thing with the Loch Ness Monster?
Yep, exactly.
And what, wait. Jaegers are Cyberman weapons.
Ah!
Ooh!
Huh.
Or a giant Dalek Jaeger. We will exterminate the Jaegers!
And kaiju!
Destroy the Kaiju! Exterminate!
These large life forms are squishy on the inside. Exterminate them!
How much energy would a Weeping Angel get? Weeping Angel Statue of Liberty versus
Yeah, the
kaiju.
statue.
Actually, don't blink.
Ooh, good point.
Mhm.
So the ending, would you guys change any way that went? Would you have kept Riley alive?
Why the fuck did they send every single helicopter out?
Because they were picking
Because
up...
it looked cool, damn it!
Why in parade formation? Why did they fly
Because
over
humanity.
the highway?
Because
it's-
fancy
yeah,
shot,
we
damn
killed
it!
me.
Why are they picking now?
I did like the fact that at the ending, first time in the movie you have clear skies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just about, yeah.
He's dead.
Yeah, Blade Runner-esque that way.
And he will wake up and he will come back to life.
Armor-plated boobs.
Hmm.
Armor-plated boobs brought him back to life.
Fairy tale logic.
Yeah.
So there wasn't any
And I did
fan
have,
service. That's actually a good point.
I did have to mention that because a close friend of mine's probably the biggest complaint about the movie was the young Australian dying and Riley surviving.
But the bulldog has no master.
You still got Hercules.
Yeah. Marshal Hercules Hansen.
Who's probably dying from radiation poisoning. Because he piloted Mark 1s.
They're all dying from radiation poisoning. Heck, we're probably assuming that,
They're probably all sterile too.
I was about to say that.
Except the Russians, because they know how to build nuclear tech.
No, but they're dead.
You forget, this is the Russian machine. You killed one, there'll be 5 more replacing it.
The Russians are dead, the Chinese are dead, you're just waiting for the Canadians to bring out their giant mech.
The Soviet
The first
Smell
big-
bacon.
The first big Canadian. It was called Brawler Yukon.
Yeah.
Soviet Russia.
No. Our mech, look up Lumber Gundam. That was our mech.
Lumber Gundam.
No.
So it's made out
Original-
of wood, eh?
No, look up Lumber Gundam. You'll see what it looks like.
Original draft of the script. No striker. Tacit Ronin. Soloing 3 kaiju. In the original draft, it was Tacit Ronin going against all 3 kaiju on his own. Well, Gypsy Danger just pegs it into the rift.
Open epic.
That was
Also, what do you guys think of the other dimension?
squiggy.
I kind of have to wonder though, is it still all underwater? If it's
Yeah, exactly.
Is it still all underwater? Because I mean, how was there still water leaking into the mech, to the Jaeger when he passed through the portal? Because I'm not quite sure. How that works. I mean, is it water? Is it acid?
That doesn't sound like kaiju movie questioning.
Also, he gave her his oxygen, and then shot her out the ship, and then took back his oxygen. Just shoot her out the escape pod already. It's got its own oxygen.
Well, he had to make a noble gesture for the sake of
For all of 5 minutes.
chivalry.
Besides, he'll survive because he is a man!
And he's American.
America!
In America.
In America.
Next pilot is
That's
Bandit
really
Keith.
nice. That's just a really nice artwork. Yeah, I really want the art book, just to see all the other Jaegers and Kaiju.
Jeff has gotta go.
Alright.
Yeah, I have to go. Thanks guys for having me. Talk to you guys later.
Later.
Take care.
Thanks. See ya.
We're almost done, I think.
Good to have you.
We have gone through the movie, basically.
Yeah, we have gone at least.
So now it's all just wrap-ups.
So, is there anything that, now, especially now that we've gone through the whole thing, anything that anyone forgot or didn't feel like they had the chance to mention?
Screw the movie industry.
I'm waiting for a crossover.
Has this movie made its budget yet?
I think it has in like China and stuff like that. In like
Yeah,
foreign
and
markets,
for some
it's
reason, it still has not gotten a big audience in America where it was made.
Because
but
they
everywhere
didn't
else
promote
it's
the
blockbusters.
fucking movie.
because people thought it was too much like
They didn't
Transformers
promote
and
it.
wanted to watch Sandler make an ass of himself.
You know what they did with the Pacific Rim marketing budget? They used it to make Man of Steel trailers.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
And that movie was terrible, from what I understand. I have not seen
It was
yet, but
okay.
I don't really care to at this point.
It was mediocre, but I feel the same way about most superhero movies.
And it's hard to compare something like that to the original 1970s about saying, the 70s did it better. Because they did.
But because of
I know.
film, I'll never see the Montauk film because of it.
At least it's better
so
than the
far,
fourth movie.
I'm not sure if
Oh,
this
come
is
on, the
US.
fourth movie was hilarious. All I have to say is one thing. Nuclear Man. He roared like Godzilla!
No, it was actually the guy who was played Lex Luthor was just roaring. That was
Well,
him.
yes, but they still added an effect to it.
Actually,
Alright.
do you know what Godzilla's roar actually is?
I believe it was a glove being rubbed down on something, but I can't remember what it was.
It was a leather glove being rubbed on like a base.
Yeah.
I've got the stats here. The so far Pacific Rim has made domestic total of about less than half of its budget, because it's made just under 90 million. The budget was 190 million. Its worldwide box office is about 230 million. So it's just barely made above its budget
So
in terms of
it did
percentage-wise,
flop.
not dollars-wise.
It did flop, and I guarantee you, as soon as it hits DVD and Blu-ray, it'll make
Um,
money hand over fist.
Something to mention though is that worldwide release, I'm pretty sure, was yesterday.
Dude,
So there
Yeah,
is
it's been a-
time
it's
for the
been a
rest of
couple
the
weeks,
world
I
to catch up.
recall, yes.
Or not, I'm sorry, not for the rest, I don't mean the rest of the world to catch up, but for it to make a lot more money. And I don't know what the hell is going on with American audiences. I don't know, but
Yeah, I am officially pissed that another really stupid Adam Sandler movie, and believe me, I've seen Adam Sandler when he's not in front of a movie camera, and he's usually a perfectly decent guy. Whatever it is he goes through in order to make these movies, it's like he ejects his freaking brain.
Yeah.
because someone casted him as a funny character when he only had one funny character to give, and they think that he's got more.
It's more like he actually owns the company now, and he keeps just making
Yeah.
movies for himself and his old co-stars from Saturday Night Live.
Still, he got typecast as something that he could just barely pull off once.
Yeah, so he keeps typecasting himself into that. Is the problem.
Yeah. Actually, it's kind of funny. When I first saw the Kaiju, I named them after all the actors in Grown Ups 2. Leatherback was Kevin James. Otachi was David Spade, and basically Slanturn was Adam Sandler.
I think Knifehead was in the trailers more than Slattern.
So,
Yeah,
so
Knifehead
they
was
bring this up
Rock.
Close. They bring this up close.
If a Kaiju sounded like that, I would be pissed off.
This most recent, or I guess the past week, Wolverine #1 at the box office. The Conjuring #2, very good. Despicable Me 2, not bad as #3. Turbo is #4, which kids movie, so I guess it's going to make money even if it's not that good.
Yeah.
Grown Ups
Still better than
2,
Smurfs
which
2.
Grown Ups 2, which we've just discussed our opinions on. Red 2, and then Pacific Rim. And that's just for this specific week. Although, of all of them, I'm trying to see which one made the most gross. It looks like Despicable Me 2, with much more than any of the others.
Well, that's because Despicable Me 2, and I've seen only the last 10 minutes of the first movie, and I can already tell you, yeah, it's going to sound like
Pacific Rim has been advertised as a kids movie, even though it could be a good one.
Well, Despicable Me...
It's okay for kids.
Despicable Me 2's domestic gross is about as much as the other top 5 movies on the box office combined.
Yes, it's a sequel to a very good kids, or I would say kids film, but actually it's a sequel to a very good family film.
Yeah. Smurfs 2 is a kids film. Despicable Me is a family film.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's a better way to differentiate them. Yes.
But I definitely think that Pacific Rim has a chance to make its money back, but it's probably going to end up the same as John Carter or Dredd. Not a lot of people are going to see it. The advertising was bad at points, but it's going to make it up on DVD.
Well, it's already made it worldwide, just beyond what it needed to, and yeah, when it gets to Blu-ray and DVD, I guarantee you that the huge amount of people complaining that this movie didn't get what it deserved is going to just boost those DVD sales through the roof.
Yeah,
So
throw
are-
in some
so you're-
good bonus features and some deleted scenes, and we're going to be happy as hell.
I gotta say though, if it's another Serenity, we still haven't gotten Serenity 2.
Because they killed Wolf. Watch.
This is true. I still want to see what was it that the XKCD's movie pitch? River Tam beats up everyone. I would buy tickets to that.
I wouldn't.
I will, but again, I have not really paid attention to that franchise, to be honest. Before I could even get a chance to be interested in the franchise, it was cancelled. Yay!
Watch it all on Netflix, man.
Other comments?
Then watch Outlaw Star.
I like the fact they built the Jaeger cockpit as a full set.
Yeah.
And it was horrible for the actors.
Usually
all
when
came
it's
out
big
of
for
that.
the actors, it means it's going to look beautiful.
Yeah.
But they came out of that, like, destroyed, except for the woman playing Mako.
Because all she thought about was flowers and gummy bears. No kidding, that's what she said in an interview.
Everyone else was like, kill me now.
Also, it's because in some of the other Jaeger scenes, you see the guys like they're dragging the whole feet of the Jaeger with the strength of their own legs somehow. And I'm pretty sure with Mako, pretty much all we see her is her standing there and her doing the arm movements. I don't think we see that much physical with her in the cockpit, or should I say, physical while she's in the cockpit? Because I'm not saying that Riley does all the labor or anything. I just don't think we see it during those scenes.
And I do like they show tech progression. Like, when we first see Gypsy Danger being piloted, they both have, like, powered gloves. on one hand. You know what I mean? So you actually control that side of the roller. And he actually has to physically move it from one hand to the other to pilot it. Whereas by the time Gypsy Danger is upgraded, they're both controlling all of it. Because you see that both arms are glowing in that strange Omni tools. So, like, Mako's meant to control the left side, but she triggers the right side plasma cannon, etc.
A
Just a little
vast
detail I
virus
noticed.
database has been updated.
Like, no interest to anyone else.
I like how there's absolutely no failsafe that actually works on this robot that has its cannon aimed at the fucking everyone in charge.
And why would you have the gun turned
What?
on for a
I'm-
test
My
run?
concern is more, if it's your test, why is it in the Jaeger and not, like, in a simulator? Like, a real
That too.
pilot would?
Either way.
I counter with, they had no funding, so wherever the simulator was, they didn't pay the power bills.
Okay, here's something. Unplug the arms and legs from the power supply
No.
so that they can't murder everyone.
No, just don't plug the head into the body.
That too.
That works.
Mm-hmm.
Just,
Music.
that bit did not.
Any comments on that?
I like the music.
Soundtrack. Noise,
This is
sound,
one other
music.
thing with music. A good soundtrack is about as well loved as good central air, because either one of them, when they're really good, you don't notice it. All you notice is you felt the mood you were supposed to. And that's not to say that in certain movies, certain scenes have iconic soundtracks that do overpower it, but 9 times out of 10, the music is not supposed to overpower the scene. And when it's well done, all that you notice is you felt the emotional response correctly, but since the music did not overpower everything else, it's not what stands out in your mind.
The Imperial March when Emperor Palpatine goes
And
to
that,
the Death
as I
Star.
said, that's one of those things where the music intentionally overpowers the scene.
How
or
about
the
every
Godzilla
single
theme.
bit of music from Akira Ifukube?
And of course, he was also the one who advocated more silence than Honda Ishiro allowed him.
He was the rare musician who said, yeah, silence works too.
He was the one who shot the director a dirty look for putting a song in a scene that he wanted to be silent.
Yep.
And
To which the director just kind of smiled and shrugged.
So any comments about the
Then I'll just
actual
recycle
sound
something.
in Pacific Rim?
Other than that, I'm going to be paying more attention to it the second time I watch the movie. I have no more comments.
Okay.
I have listened to some of the soundtrack. It was alright. It wasn't spectacular or mind-blowing, but it was alright.
Okay. I did like the fact that leitmotif for the kaiju was just pure Godzilla music. I'll make Bill look it up on the YouTube once we're done, just to hear it. And yeah,
Which one now?
I think the track is called 250,000 Tons of Awesome. That's the kaiju theme on YouTube.
250,000?
Yeah, $250,000. Pacific Rim OST.
Yeah. I think I had one too many O's. I'm slightly dyslexic.
Okay. If you put a Pacific Rim OST, it should help. Trust me, it'll make it quicker.
Yeah, because otherwise you're just going to have people posting things that they thought were awesome that they put on the YouTube.
It's been Pacific. Tons of awesome.
Oh,
Not pounds.
You said pounds.
No, I didn't.
Ton. There.
There.
Remember, he's
Comment.
British. His pound is $1.50.
Oi!
Watch the wisecracks, boss. I'm sitting right behind you and I have a laptop.
God, it
I'm
is.
breaking.
That is so accurate.
And it's intended to be.
Well, it's a good song. You don't interrupt it.
So it's, even the music's a reference.
Yep.
Although I wish they stuck the Megas XLR theme somewhere.
No, that's what the AMVs are for.
True, but still. Wanted to see more Rocket Punch.
I could easily see people combining the military march or the Godzilla theme into AMVs now with this.
Yeah.
Actually, should be something I should do.
Yeah, you should. Whilst Bill writes the Steve Irwin Jaeger pilot. Best idea ever. But yeah, last real comment from me is, in order to make sure there's no competition, Warner Brothers probably... Was Warner Brothers for this film?
Yes, it was.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, they probably paid hush money to DreamWorks, which annoys me because that means the Monpok movie won't get made.
Did the Asylum make a mockbuster of this?
Yes,
Yep, Atlantic Rim.
That's right. Yes, that's the one that Film Renegado reviewed.
And how did it turn out?
Not a good movie.
It's guys standing around in wetsuits while Graham Greene yells at them. While they're fighting a CGI dragon.
Oh god. Well,
Is it the Dragon Ball
how good was the
Dragon?
CG? Because we've seen them actually do decent CG.
It's not even decent CG.
Oh god.
It's Mega
Should've had
Piranha
guys-
levels.
Oh.
Yeah.
They had guys in suits.
And there was only one monster, right?
Yep, one dragon. Not weird hammerhead tentacle monsters or knife-headed blobby Kevin Jameses.
Kaiju design was cool though.
They were cool. I definitely think that I kind of got the same feel from these monsters that I did from the Forest God from Hellboy 2.
Yeah. Kind of the point I gave.
I do wish they had a bit more chance to develop on their personalities. You know, maybe like
I don't think
actually
we're
get-
supposed to have personalities.
Like-
They're monstrous weapons designed
Have you ever
to
watched
smash
a
stuff.
monster movie?
Yeah, that's true, but those are
Godzilla-
actually more
Ask,
animalistic.
ask any pagoda in Japan whether Godzilla has a personality or not.
No, I'm sorry. You're not giving me the idea where someone's going to do the fan comic where there's just like a waiting room, like a lobby, with all the kaiju sitting there, just waiting their turn to go through the rift.
Isn't that essentially what it was like on the other side of the rift?
Next!
Pretty much.
And I just still remember all the little knife heads sitting in those
Shut up,
specially designed
actors,
seats
put
for them.
football on.
You know, all you hear is next.
Apache PMS all the
Monster
time.
walks in and he walks into a giant slingshot and gets tossed right into the rift.
I just imagine they have a room to like test the monsters. Okay, now you're gonna go into the rift to scare a bunch of humans. Now we need to make sure you've got a scary roar for when you get through there. Okay, go.
Why is this all of a sudden a Monsters Inc. crossover?
Because shut up, that would be hilarious.
That's what DreamWorks would make.
That's
No,
what
they
happened to
couldn't. Shut
Ted.
up.
Ted goes to the
DreamWorks did a
kaiju
Monpok
office.
movie and it would be glorious, even if Tim Burton was directing, because he was the one who was officially attached to it.
Attached to
I
what?
could see
Tim
Tim
Burton
Burton.
plus.
If Tim Burton did, I'd kind of like to see him do Biollante, because he could do it kind of creepily, and I'd kind of like to see that.
The stars would be Johnny Depp dressed as Michael Jackson and Helena Bonham Carter.
Yes.
And then you've got Christopher Lee as the general.
Yes. But if you guys have seen Monpok, you know the insane amount of monsters you have to choose.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't choose any copyrighted ones either.
The Lords of Cthulhu, not Cthulhu, Cthulhu, are copyrighted to Privateer Press, which gave the rights for the movie. So you can't have Cthulhu ripoffs. Although Cthulhu, I think Cthulhu's like open commons now.
Something like that, yeah.
Might be.
Could have Dagon or something.
Most of H.P. Lovecraft's works are all public domain, yes.
Yeah. So you,
Except for the ones that sold movie rights, because then you get the same bullshit embroiled that Marvel and Fox are stuck in.
Hand waving.
And wait,
Sissy slap fights.
although I was talking to Bill about it earlier, about the Monpok movie, and then we got sidetracked by going the character Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter drifting in some sort of crazy gothic Jaeger.
I just imagined that they're drifting with just imagine looking like this, the opening to This Is Halloween.
Yes, and their Jaeger scissor hands, of course. Could be interesting, I'd say that. But
A
geez.
giant goth Jaeger.
Yes. Actually, yeah, that one more thing I like to say. The fights were really violent. When you stop and think about it,
They double tapped Leatherback.
Yeah, I actually said that as soon as they did that. I looked to my buddy Mike because I'd seen Zombieland and went, oh my god, he double tapped him.
It's the fact that they
Why is that image of a winged kaiju calling it like a kraken?
Because people don't know what a kraken is. They've never seen a pterosaur
Know
before.
what that is?
That's Otachi.
Do people understand the difference between tentacles and wings?
Apparently not.
That's standard Otachi.
Actually, I kind of wondered, how did Otachi have its wings folded up? Because I kind of saw that when it was walking around, it had kind of some kind of bony structures that were blocking them off.
Yeah.
Like, look, I've seen fossils of like pterosaurs when they have it. They're like,
Otachi got enough XP from the fight to level up and evolve.
what? Otachi's evolving. Quick,
hold on the B button.
Why not? Rodan did it.
Goddamn fire.
And then went to destroy New York.
That was with an experience share. He wasn't even part of that fight.
Anguirus has fainted.
Or there was the, the baby Godzilla finally leveling up into the adult version.
And then spreading its XP shares after freezing before going
yeah. Monpok Hero Click. No, sorry, Pacific Rim Hero Clicks. It's Scopa hat. I do want the toys, though. The actual 9-inch toys.
I picked up Crimson Typhoon, and it's pretty good.
I'm going to be looking for Striker Eureka for myself.
It's coming out eventually along with Leatherback.
This is
exactly what I said after seeing this movie, too, is, okay, I want my action figures now. Where's my action figures?
So anybody who's listening who hasn't seen this movie yet, first off, congratulations on somehow doing that.
Spoilers, by the way.
And
spoilers.
Get your ass out and watch the movie.
Go see it.
Freaking watch the movie.
Don't let Sandler win.
For reals.
Scottish Jaeger pilots would win.
And
Canadian pilots is better.
Europe, congratulations on getting this movie. Wait, and then actually, you know what? I think I might have mixed up release dates with something else, because Pacific Rim was longer ago than whatever. I don't even know. No, that's right. It was Europe that just got this. Never mind. I just confused myself. So yeah,
European people go see it now.
Congratulations on getting this movie. Now I'll go watch it.
Post your favorite kaiju and Jaegers in the comments.
There you go.
Yay!
Anybody else have some final comments?
my action
Or
figures.
have we said what we are to say?
Spin-offs for Ichiega.
Yeah.
Like even Coyote Tango with the crazy shoulder cannons.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool to see a Coyote Tango movie.
And guys, sell the rights to IDW so we can get an infinite amount of Pacific Rim Godzilla crossovers.
Yes. But actually, if they...
Sugar on top, comic book candy.
And oh no, never mind. They don't have Doctor Who anymore.
In any case, keep your eyes peeled for the Steve Irwin Jaeger pilot fic, as well as whatever fic Matt's working on.
And podcast fans, meet us in the same place in 20 hours for whatever Doctor Who episode we're watching. Whatever one it is. There might be robots. Who knows? You'll have to watch to find out.
Yeah. But, oh yeah, that's right. We do. Anyway, yep.
Well,
Next time.